Flying by the Roman road built by Emperor Trajan in honor of Busra, we reached to El Sanamin, where the Roman temple of god Tika, built in 191 AD, exists. This is the shrine of the prophet Abel, who was killed by his brother Cain, the story of the first struggle in history between two brothers. This shrine is erected atop a rocky mountain on the crossroad between Damascus and Zabadani. To the north, El Zabadani citadel, or El Koko, overlooks a remarkably beautiful landscape. Cherubim Monastery dates back to early Christianity. It overlooks Sidnaya. El-Omari, Asad Rostum and Bokok say that it houses an admirable church and is surrounded by caves, where monks retired to long time ago. This is Sidnaya, with one of the earliest and oldest churches in the world. Sayyida in Syria means Our Lady. Other names are Sidnail, Shahura, or Shagura. According to Ptolemy, it was called Danava or Danaba. The church houses St. Peter's Tower and El Sayyida Convent, which was built in 597 AD by Emperor Justinian, who, the legend says, converted to Christianity when an embodiment of the Virgin Mary appeared to him. From Sidnaya to Ma'lula, which is hewn out of the rock, it is said that Jesus Christ stayed in it while he was away from Palestine. According to Professor Serena Cecchini, the language of Christ is still spoken to the present day. The Akkadians, Amorites, and Arameans inhabited the city, and the oldest monastery in the world was built in the 1st century AD, namely Saint Tekla, the first Christian martyr and disciple of Saint Peter, according to Mother Bilagia Sayef. Another monastery is Mar Serkis, built in the 4th century AD. Director Father Fayez Ferhat says that it is one of the oldest in the world. Yabrud, the birthplace of the Argentine president Carlos Menem. In his book Discoveries in Yabrud Caves, German archaeologist Alfred Rast affirmed that man lived here 120,000 years ago. This was supported by the American professor Rolf Solicki, who finished Rost's work later, and by Dr. Assaf, director of archaeology and museums. Also by Dr. Sultan Mahisen, professor of ancient history at Damascus University, and by Professor Karl Braunacker, Kollner, who analyzed the soil of Yabrud. Tens of caves hewn out of the rock give evidence that the early humans inhabited the area. Publication issued by the French Archaeology Institute affirmed that these findings have been based on those done by archaeologists like Byzantion, Copland, Francis Hoare, Mahisen, and Saint-Leville. These in turn depended upon the discoveries of Professors Rast and Solicki, who date these findings back to the Paleolithic period, that is, 90 to 150,000 years of age. Mention should be made that in 1970, a Japanese expedition with the famous scholars Suzuki and Kopori excavated in 3 sites: Yabrud Resort the 8th, Yabrud Cave the 3rd, and Yabrud Courtyard the 3rd. From Yabrud, we make our way to Marmusa Monastery, flying by Jirud, which cites evidence of a prehistorical human civilization. The exact history of the monastery is still unknown. Father Paolo, an Italian, has been living in retirement for 6 years in this monastery, which had been deserted for 600 years. The monastery has an old church and admirable inscriptions and frescoes. To the east of Marmusa abounds the metropolis of Tadmur, Palmyra, some 240 kilometers from Damascus. It was inhabited since the Neolithic period in the 6th millennium BC. Palmyra's significance is upheld by the numerous international expeditions that have worked in it since 1751 with the most prominent archaeologists. These expeditions are: first, the British expedition, headed by Odd and Duncan in 1751. Secondly, the German expedition, headed by D. Gang in 1702 and 1917. Thirdly, aeroplane survey expedition, headed by Sauvinal and Baudbar in 1917. Fourthly, the Danish expedition, headed by Inyold in 1924 and 1928. Fifth, the French expedition, headed by Sirek, Berge and Ami in 1936. Sixth, the Polish expedition, headed by the late Michel Golinowski in 1959. Seventh, the Swiss expedition, headed by the late Paul Kolar in 1987. Eighth, the joint Syrian-German expedition, headed by Smith Cornell and Khalid Assad. Ninth, the French expedition, headed by Jean Cauvin